Hello everyone, my name is Tremaine Hayhill. Welcome back to Movie Day, where Tremaine reviews the movies and talks about himself in third person. I just got back from seeing the movie Old, and I have a really weird feeling in my feelings. Let's talk about this. Very creepy, very creeped out right now. Like, it left me just a weird feeling. I just have a really weird feeling. It just has this like, ugh feeling. And I mean that in the best way possible. Now, Old is written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, who is known for, of course, The Sixth Sense, Split as of late, and The Village, Signs, and unfortunately, Lady in the Water, and probably one of the worst movies of all time, The Happening. But I must say, I'm going to just say this out of the gate, M. Night Shyamalan's back in a big way, and I'm thoroughly impressed with this film. I texted my friend Sean, shout out to Sean Valentino, the showstopper himself. He sees a lot of movies in the theaters. Of course, he'd already seen it. Today was the first day Old even came out. It's the first day Old. Okay, sorry. You'll get the joke a little bit later. First half of this is going to be non-spoilers. Second half is going to be spoilers. Spoiler talk. A younger couple, young kids, and younger I mean like 40s, couple with two kids, a boy and a girl that are 6 and 10, I think, something like that. Or maybe 6 and 12 or 6 and 11, I don't know. Anyway, they go to an island resort. And as an island resort vacation, and of course, it's kind of like something out of the Twilight Zone where you know something's going to go wrong. You're going into it, you know it's M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's going to be creepy. It's going to be weird. I might bring you guys a little bit closer. Yeah, you know it's going to be creepy. You know it's going to be weird. And it is very creepy, and it is very weird. The whole time, it's just, the setup is brilliant. The setup, the building of the characters is cool. The thing about M. Night Shyamalan is in all of his movies, he has people that just kind of say stuff. They say like random things. They'll say like random statistics or facts, and then he'll back them up in ways to justify the character saying that. But it really does sound like M. Night Shyamalan talking. You know, the 6-year-old kid talks like a 30-year-old man. But that kind of works in a way. At first, I was like, okay, this just sounds like M. Night Shyamalan talking to himself. That's one of the big things about writing. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm a writer-director myself. I made a movie called Rideshare, and I'm working on a new movie called Project S right now, tentative title, or code name, I guess. So, as a fellow writer, you want to be able to write characters that stand on their own. You want to be able to read their dialogue and be like, okay, this is a whole different character. If they keep sounding like the same person, that's just kind of a style of bad writing. A lot of people, even really fantastic writers, someone like Quentin Tarantino, for example, you just know the dialogue, you know it's a Quentin Tarantino film because a lot of the characters kind of sound like Quentin Tarantino. But a lot of those characters speak in their own behalf. So for this, it makes sense. There's ways that, like in Sixth Sense, for example, you know, when he came flying out of the gate with his smash hit, which is like that movie was lightning in a bottle. I mean, that movie was completely lightning in a bottle. It works because everything fits. Every dialogue is a hint at something else, and that's what you learn about Shyamalan, is that he's very detail oriented, and everything that you see, it almost to a point where like you can count, you know that okay, this is going to come in later on because characters they'll say XYZ, and they're like, okay, I know this is going to factor in later on, and they did, you know, it all comes back together, all your questions are answered by the end of the movie. But it becomes so frustrating because you don't know anything about the situation going into this movie. You guys haven't seen the movie. Old is, it's about a group of people that go to a beach and they get a year older every 30 minutes, which is a very frightening concept. That would be very creepy. I don't think anyone, especially if you're older than 25, you probably don't want to get any older, you know? So that as a concept is brilliant and really scary. And I'm actually surprised that it hasn't happened before. I've seen a similar Twilight Zone episode where there was an older couple that wanted to. There's this science foundation that could make someone that's old into a young, like puts their body and puts their whole soul into it and brain, like puts their whole soul into a new. I don't know how it works. You know, you don't ask questions because it's Twilight Zone, but. You know, you could be an 80-year-old man, but then come out, you know, in a fit like 20-year-old body. So I've seen a concept like that similar, where it's almost reversed. Or I'm trying to think of another one where they get older, a lot older as well. But you know, I text my friend Sean Valentino. Shout out to Sean Valentino at the beginning, and I'm like, okay, I have a feeling this movie's going to be either really good or really bad, because that's kind of how Shyamalan movies end up being. Although there were a couple that were in between, so I just completely went back on what I just said. But yeah, so I'm just thinking the whole time, like, okay, what could this be? You know, why are they doing this? Or who's behind this? The resort, you know, essentially sets up this trap. That's not a spoiler. I mean, you know that they get there somehow. Right, so all the characters were really good. It was pretty dark in a sense that, like, dang, a lot of dark things happen in this movie. And it's PG-13, but it's a very strong PG-13 because it's a very strong PG-13. Yeah, and man, like, I walked out of the theater just, with this, like, gross feeling, because it just kind of makes you feel that way. I mean, but again, like, you want to know what happens, you're watching this, but I'm also like, okay, I want this to end because I'm feeling so unsettled right now. I just want to be out of here. You know what I mean? Like, because you feel like you're on the beach with them. You feel like you're getting older as you're watching the movie. And I mean that in the best way possible, where it's almost like, oh my gosh, but it's almost torture watching it, but you have to keep watching it because you want to know what happens next. So I must say it's an absolutely brilliant film. You guys hear the coyotes? There's like coyotes out there. Dang. That made things a little bit creepier too. So yeah, it was. I'm really impressed. Shyamalan is back in a big way. I mean, his latest few movies, like Split, was really good. The one after that was pretty good too. I liked that one as well. And that was pretty good. It was like the kids that visited the grandparents. The Visit. That was really good as well. So he is very talented and he's original. You know, you got to give the guy credit. He's completely original in his ideas. Original in his execution. He has a unique style. He has a unique brand. He put himself in the movie, you know, of course. But he did actually a really good job acting as well. So, hey, shout out to M. Night Shyamalan. He did a really good job in this movie. He gave a shout out to Philly. I guess he's from Philadelphia, so he always has some element of Philadelphia in his movies. So he just had characters that were from Philadelphia. So obviously he didn't. This is set on a resort island, which is not Philadelphia. Yeah, great done. That's about all I can get without going into too much detail. Spoilers. Yeah, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Really stellar job. Only reason why I didn't give it a 10 out of 10, there were a couple things that were like, okay. But I mean, in terms of like freak out factor, like it's all there, scary, it sticks with you afterwards. There's some really chilling, haunting scenes that were just creeped the heck out of me. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10. I highly recommend it. What did you guys think of it? Did you guys see Old? If you guys saw Old and you liked it, leave that in the comments below. Let me know. If you didn't like it at all, leave that in the comments below. Let me know. Now let's talk about spoilers. Okay, so spoilers. Man, I almost wish I could talk to someone about this movie because, I just went on this solo YOLO, went to the movies, because yeah, hey, whatever. If I want to see a movie, I'm going to see a movie. I'm not, I'm cool with going solo YOLO. But yeah, it was so suspenseful, it was very creepy, very there were a lot of scenes. There was a scene, for example, where the doctor's stabbing one of the characters, and it is so freaky because the vision is all his vision is all kind of blurry, and it's kind of like tunnel vision. So you just see this character that's just stabbing at, and it's just, wow, that is really freaky and really unsettling. So I'm getting inspiration because I'm making a new movie, and we're literally a week and a half away from production, and we are rolling. So I'm getting inspired. I'm living and breathing movies. I'm writing or I'm producing during the day, and then at night I'm watching movies. And I've been reading this Hitchcock book, which is amazing. It's a Hitchcock and Truffaut interview book where he talks about all 53 of Hitchcock's movies. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, this movie really stuck with me, and there's a lot in it, and there's a lot to really unpack. There's a huge this deals with people with health issues. So one lady has epilepsy, another one had a benign tumor that ended up being a big tumor, and then they extract the tumor, which that's crazy too. And then they have mental illness with one of the guys with a doctor who goes crazy. Schizophrenic, I think, which is that's really scary too. So they have people that are mentally ill, people that are physically ill. One girl has a calcium deficiency, and that's a really creepy scene. Oh my gosh, that was so disturbing. She's this beautiful woman, but she has a calcium deficiency, so when she gets older, it's just, yeah, I guess Shyamalan's probably laughing so hard if he's watching this, which he's not, but one can dream. Oh my gosh, that scene was so creepy. They go in, the two kids get older, and they're in their 20s, I think. They're in their 20s, they go in the cave, and the woman that is getting older, she's getting a hunchback, and then she's like, don't look at me, don't turn on the light. He has a match. One thing is the guy's backing out, and she's like, don't look at me, don't look at me. He doesn't put the match out. I would put the match out. But then it's for the effect of the candlelight and seeing her, and oh my gosh, it was so freaky. She goes to attack him, but then her bones break, and oh man, yeah, it's almost even just talking about it is just really freaking me out. And it's interesting because and I watched that movie alone, which is maybe even creepier as well. I don't know. I have to kind of get my mind off this. But yeah, so it turns out there's some magnetic thing in the beach that makes people's cells age faster than normal. There's something about the coral that, at the end, so big spoiler alert if you don't want to know the big spoiler alert. There's something about the coral. If they swim through it, they can make it, I guess, or something. I don't know. The kids get out, and by that time they're in their 50s, age-wise. And they get it because from a coded message that the kid sends, that the kid that he met. And so he gets the message, decodes it, and gets out. So thanks for the little kid who knew his uncle was his uncle is the resort manager. I guess I'm just gonna sit like this. This is really awkward. Okay. So his uncle